The LAPD has bolstered its online surveillance operations by adding another piece of technology to its roster. LAPD's newest surveillance partner, Cobweb's Technology, gathers data from phones and social media activity and turns it into intelligence. The Israeli company surveillance software, which outsourced much of their surveillance work to AI and machine learning, gives police warrantless access to your personal information. Cobwebs Technologies was founded back in 2015 by former IDF special operatives Amari Timiaker, Shay Atias, and former Mossad official Udi Levy. The company is part of a controversial billion-dollar surveillance industry in Israel, where the technology is often tested on Palestinians before being implemented elsewhere in the world. During the 2014 trip to Israel, LAPD's top brass saw firsthand how Israel used drones, social media surveillance software, and automatic license plate readers. Within 5 years of the trip, the department would be using all three. This year, Cobwebs was acquired by private equity firm Spire Capital, which owns the surveillance companies Geotime and Pinlink. The company currently has several contracts with local and federal agencies, including the Texas Department of Public Safety, who uses it to track immigrants, the IRS, and the Department of Homeland Security. LAPD purchased the nearly 200,000 per year subscription to the technology back in 2022 with the help of a 600,000 DHS grant that focused on terrorism prevention in urban areas. Part of the purchase was a suite of over 50 digital tools, including surveillance and investigative software built by the companies. In the grant proposal for the technology, LAPD stated it would make it easier to share intelligence with federal police agencies. Meta, the company behind Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, banned accounts used by Cobwebs and labeled it a surveillance for hire company. In a 2021 report, Meta found that Cobwebs was being used to target activists, opposition politicians, and government officials in Hong Kong and Mexico. The report pushed back against the surveillance company's claims that it tracked only criminals and terrorists. It's not news that the LAPD monitors your social media and surveils your online activity. It also is not news that your phone and computer are doing the same, sending you targeting ads based on your links that you click on by the apps that you use. Cobwebs can combine all of this data and turn it into intelligence for police with the help of two platforms, Tangles and WebLock. Tangles is Cobweb's marquee platform. It uses AI, the machine learning, to automate its surveillance capabilities. The software's AI is continually searching, scraping, and extracting information from the public's online activities. This includes monitoring geotags of geographic locations, social media posts, online communities, including those on the dark web. Tangles allows police to create extremely detailed dossiers on people either targeted by police or found by cobwebs while scraping personal and online data. Per the company's promotion material, the information is provided to police includes locations, context, internal relations, group structures, and hierarchies, as well as influences of targets' social communities. This data driven profiling, as Cobwebs describes it, can infer a person's social network, whether they are likely perpetrators of violence, and monitor changes in a person's sentiments. Cobweb states that it can help police, quote, prevent events before they occur. Cobweb's AI can also profile a person by using its deep image analysis to make connections the company claims are invisible to the naked eye. The software scans photos and videos to find connections in people's faces and intentions in text and label within those photos, labeling anything it deems suspicious. Cobwebs does not elaborate on what connections the software makes or how it asserts intentions from the image. In a case study, Cobweb demonstrated how the software could have been used to prevent the Alexandria incident back in 2017. The company pointed to how police missed on intentions in the shooter's social media posts, claiming that their AI would have been aware of them. Quote, it can take more than the human mind to comprehend complex situations, especially when it comes to taking available information into consideration within context. However, there could be no real harm in police departments buying it on artificial intelligence and predictive analysis technologies that may be nothing more than a buzzword. David Mass, with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to protecting civil liberties in the digital world, states that, quote, when an algorithm underperformed or failed to meet expectations, that could mean that innocent people are being harmed by faulty technology. The use of data driven policing software relies on a technology known to be rife with bias and inaccuracies. Multiple studies have shown that the algorithm used in AI predictive policing models are racist and inaccurate. Making matters worse are the shadowy algorithms and calculations used by cobwebs. Since they are proprietary, they aren't accessible to the public, making it difficult to independently review them for bias or the use of bad data. The LAPD has previously used technology for predictive policing, including both Planter and Predpol, which has led to the overpolicing of black and brown communities in Los Angeles. Their marquee predictive policing program to reduce gun violence, Operation Laser, was shut down back in 2019 after internal audits found inconsistencies in its use. The department now uses data informed community focused policing, which activists and community organizers have pointed out is predictive policing by another name. Cowboys shared a presentation with LAPD, quote, civil disorder investigation methodology, but the LAPD's gratuitous redactions of the version NOC LA obtained make it eligible and thus impossible to understand the exact content of the company's pitch. There are references to creating target cards for specific people and organizations, them using tags. The source and the software continuously scans to, quote, reach more tactical information are redacted by the department. More illuminating is a case study created by Cobwebs that shares how invasive the software is when it comes to surveilling protest. Before a big soccer game in Europe, police monitoring social media using alerts for keywords and hashtags to find specific soccer fans, quote, who are most likely to cause trouble. From there, the software uploads a personal photograph and creates a target card, allowing police to track them in real time, online, or in person. A request was made for a list of keywords and hashtags used by cobwebs by the LAPD. However, the department refused to disclose the list, citing the exemption that protects confidential records being used in active investigations from being shared with the public. If the past is any sign of what the hashtags or keywords might be, previous reporting by the Briand Center for Justice reveals that in 2020, LAPD surveillance Black Lives Matter protests on social media using hashtags like hashtag Antifa, or hashtag a cab. LAPD even followed three specific Twitter accounts, including one that tweeted out information coming from police scanners about the protest. WebLock and other tools, including in the department's Cobweb subscription, is the most invasive ones. The application gives police warrantless access to anyone's phone data. Software allows police to track where people have been, collect demographic data from their apps, and visualize it on a map. The software can do this thanks to the, quote, billions of data points continuously harvested from their users to access. Those data points include detailed information from people not suspected of any crimes. This data can be obtained easily from data brokers and provide far more detailed information about a person's life than the cell site location data police normally request. The data available through WebBlock includes mobile advertising IDs from apps a person uses and other personal information, including the gender, age, religion, and interest of the phone's user. WebLock states that it uses the data along with their location to create a, quote, threat actor analysis. The data can also be geo-fenced, allowing police to search a specific location on a map during a specific time frame and gather phone data from everyone in the area. Those maps can track a person at a protest or share a person's location data with agencies in other states. The department claims that it gets, quote, search warrants before accessing phone data and does not use WebLock to geofence. But there are ways to use the information without a warrant. One of the ways is outlined in a 2021 report by the Center of Democracy and Technology that highlights how government and police departments can, through a loophole in the Electronic Communications Privacy Act, access phone data without a warrant so long as it's done through a data broker. Another way is through the common practice of parallel construction, where police can gather evidence in a way that violates the Fourth Amendment but hides how they got the information by fabricating or finding a different source. The LAPD defends using cobwebs, stating that the information it gathers is open source and publicly available, but cobwebs is not available for use by the general public, nor does the general public have access to the breadth of information gathered by cobwebs. Dave Mass with EFF pushed back against LAPD's claims. Quote, LAPD likes to play games and claims that if it's public, there is no public interest in protecting it from police spying. LAPD should learn from history and recognize that this kind of surveillance is damaging to everyone. All right, so let's just go back and get some key takeaways from that article. Cobweb's Technologies gathers data from your phone and social media activity and turns it into intelligence. So, which means basically, as you are on your phone at this moment in time, you are feeding data, whether you know it or not, whether your phone is, black, meaning the screen is off or you're surfing the web or whatnot, whatever, is scraping and collecting all of that data for its database to build a profile specifically tailored to you to give directly to the police and the government. The company is part of a controversial billion-dollar surveillance industry. Cobwebs was acquired by a private equity firm, Spire Capital, which owns the surveillance companies GeoTime and Pinlink. The company currently has several contracts with local and federal agencies, including the Texas Department of Public Safety, who uses it to track migrants, the IRS, and the Department of Homeland Security, which basically means if they, in a sense, wanted to find you, if you think that they don't know where you are, if you think that you are so low key that nobody knows who you are incorrect, you are wrong. As long as you are using a cell phone that is able to broadcast a signal, a cell phone that is able to have advertisers give direct messaging or advertising directly to you, as long as you're using a cell phone that has any of the apps that are on Apple or the Google App Store, they know exactly who you are, and where you've been in the last 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes, 2 days, or a week. LAPD purchased the nearly 200,000 per year subscription to the technology in 2022 with the help of a $600,000 DHS grant that focuses on terrorism prevention in urban areas. So you got to pay very close attention to that. So somebody has to explain to me the only area that is considered urban, right? Whenever they want to tailor a word or use it or brand a demographic, primarily 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, urban is primarily used for the Black community. Primarily, right? You can go back far in the day and they would always categorize it as the urban area. And, instead of calling it a ghetto or the ghettos, stuff of that nature, they would refer to it as urban. You can even look at fashion when they want to consider something as urban wear. They're usually talking about blue jeans, they're talking about gym shoes, they're talking about hoodies, things that you would primarily see Black people wear, or things that you would see police primarily target those people who wear it, right? So hoodies, right? Baggy pants, certain types of coats, certain types of shoes, do-rags, things of that nature. They also stated the LAPD stated it would make it easier to share intelligence with federal police agencies. Meta, the company behind Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, banned accounts used by Cobwebs and labeled it a surveillance for hire company. In a 2021 report, Meta found that Cobwebs was being used to target activists, opposition politicians, and government officials in Hong Kong and Mexico. So they're basically telling you how they allowed this AI, this company, on Meta, right? Before, I guess, Meta, quote unquote, knew about it, even though Meta knows about everything. Before they, quote unquote, knew about it, this company was specifically using the data that Meta had, because Meta, it has a whole bunch of advertising, has ads and all of these things tailored to specific users and so on and so on and so on. They built up a database, right? And they ran algorithms in order to specifically target specific individuals, like they stated, activists. So it doesn't matter if you are against the police, if you are talking against the government, if you're forming your own group, whatever it is, right? They have basically a dossier, they have a file, they have a folder directly on you. If you are opposed to certain politics, they have a folder directly on you. Government officials that are in Hong Kong and Mexico, right? They have files directly on those individuals. Cobwebs can be combined to monitor your social media and surveillance your online activities and turn it into intelligence for police with the help of two platforms, Tangles and Weblock. The software's AI is continually searching, scraping, and extracting information from the public's online activity. This includes monitoring geotags of geographic locations, social media posts, and online communities, including those on the dark web. Basically, they're letting you know that it doesn't matter where you are. If they really wanted to find you, they got the money, they got the technology, they got the know how to find you, because 9 times out of 10, what are people using? Android or Apple? All of those are companies. All of those are open. Whenever you use your cell phone, you give over whatever rights that you have to freedom, safety, and privacy as soon as you have that phone. As soon as you open up, as soon as you start putting phone numbers and information directly in there, they already got you. They already got folders. They already got databases. You got ads and everything going directly to you. So this is where it comes in when they talked about in the article that you have these private agencies, these data brokers that are able to buy and sell certain data, and they can also add that into Cobweb along with the other applications in order to further build a bigger database, in order to further do a deep dive and pinpoint a certain individual, person, group, or what have you, right? Multiple studies have shown that the algorithm used in AI predictive policing models are racist and inaccurate. We've also seen this before with certain technologies, such as facial recognition technologies, or even technologies used in bathrooms where you are supposed to put your hand directly under the soap dispenser and it does not properly read pigmentation properly. If a person is Caucasian, it can clearly read that, it'll dispense the soap. But if a person has a brown pigment or whatnot or what have you, it reads it wrong. There was another story before where the facial technology that they have misread or misidentified a person, inevitably blaming an innocent person for a crime that they did not commit. The data-driven profiling, as Cobwebs describes it, can infer a person's social network, whether they likely are a perpetrator of violence, and monitor changes in a person's sentiment. Cobweb says that it can help police, quote, prevent events before they occur. So, one of the biggest examples that I can point to dealing with this technology is Minority Report. That is a movie dealing with quote unquote Mission Impossible's Tom Cruise, who was a police officer that worked for an agency where they had this technology where they had predictive programming and other things involved where they can pretty much determine what type of crimes that you are going to commit years or whatnot before you even opted to commit those crimes, which means that they could potentially even arrest a kid. Looking at his trajectory, looking at the things that he's already doing, they would already predict that, okay, at this such and such age, at the age of 18, this kid is going to decide to commit his first crime. All right, we're going to go out and already arrest him and charge him for a crime that he didn't commit, but we know that he's going to commit it. So we're just going to charge him now and get it, said and done, right? So it's that type of thing where they can literally look at a person's profile, or let's say if you got a Facebook, and throughout 12 years, they'll go through all of those pictures, they'll go through the comments that you specifically wrote, and they'll perform or build this type of profile directly on you. And what the algorithm will do is that it'll scan and go through that profile and in a sense, look at the moods, look at the word changes, look at the quote unquote feelings, right? Because they say that the human eye cannot directly catch what it is that a person is stating, saying, or doing, but the AI, who is emotionless, can clear cut register and read what these words mean directly from a person. Remember, a lot of people say things when it deals with emotions. And the funniest thing is, if you think about a text message, somebody can write a statement which is void on their side. To them, it's void of any type of emotions. But once the other person receives that text message, they're looking at it like, yo, why would you write this? Like, why would you sit up there and say this? Like, and they start getting, mad or anxious or fearful, depending on how the message might have come off. So again, you're dealing with an AI that is not human based, that doesn't have that type of critical thinking where they can specifically decipher if this was a joke, if this person specifically actually meant this, or were they really thinking of, right? It's just going to be cut and dry, black and white. That's it. So this is how you also have a lot of errors that are able to come through with a lot of this technology, because it's missing that emotional human aspect, right? Because again, you're just dealing with computers, you're dealing with a program, you're dealing with ones and zeros, right? You're not dealing with a human being that can perceive certain things, or they can register and think back to, okay, when I was like 15, I might have said something stupid, I might have wrote something, like this, but I didn't really mean what it is that I wrote. It was just an aha, gotcha, shock, type of moment. Versus when AI reads it, they're like, oh, this person wrote this, they meant this, and they made this statement during these, teen years. So now we're going to look at them as an adult, and then we can pretty much assume that they're the exact same person, have the exact same feelings as they did, prior years in their youth. So again, it's a very, dangerous technology. It's a very slippery slope. And again, they're now telling you about this technology. If they're now telling you about it, it's old news, and they're on to something bigger and better, and something that costs way more money. I can promise you that. So, and we probably won't hear about that for, another 5, maybe close to 10 years. And yeah, like I said, it's a problem that is always building. And like I always told you guys before, everything that you do directly online, doesn't matter if we're, playing video games, cell phone games, watching movies, television shows, whatnot, or whatever. All of this information is getting fed into one general gigantic supercomputer that is learning directly from every single human being that does these interactions with this technology. Again, this is the only way that they can get close enough to building the type of AI that they want, that is human like or human based, because that's the main real goal for a lot of these technological companies to do, to build that very first AI robotic piece of tech that is human based or human like. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.